Hello, and welcome to Night Coffee Crime. Today, we're diving into the chilling and tragic story of Heaven's Gate, a cult that ended in 1997 with 39 members committing mass suicide. Their goal? To reach a higher plane of existence they called the evolutionary level above human, accessible, they believed, by boarding a spaceship hidden behind the Hale-Bopp comet. But how did this group form, and what drove its members to such a tragic conclusion? We'll explore the lives of its founders, their belief system, and the path that ultimately led to this final, shocking act. Heaven's Gate was founded in the early 1970s by Marshall Herff Applewhite, who became known as I Do, and Bonnie Lou Nettles, known as T. Marshall Applewhite, a talented music professor at the University of Alabama, faced intense internal conflict. Raised by a Presbyterian minister, Applewhite had strong Christian beliefs, which clashed with his developing sexual identity. He was married with 2 children, but after accusations about a relationship with a male student, his career ended, and he eventually left his family. Around the same time, Bonnie Nettles, a nurse and mother of 4, was experiencing the breakdown of her marriage. Nettles was already drawn to spirituality, UFOs, and astrology, which fascinated Applewhite when they met. Together, they began to see themselves as divine guides on a unique spiritual journey. In 1973, Applewhite and Nettles embarked on a spiritual journey, traveling across states and holding meetings to spread their beliefs. They taught that people could reach the evolutionary level above human, a state they claimed was accessible only to those willing to detach completely from earthly attachments. They referred to Heaven's Gate as a UFO cult due to their belief that extraterrestrial beings would help them transcend human limitations. Their teachings quickly gained attention, and in 1975, they held a conference in Oregon. Afterward, news broke that 20 people had mysteriously disappeared from the Oregon coast after attending one of their meetings, sparking fascination and fear across the country. Heaven's Gate had a strict and unique belief system. Members were required to overcome the human level by giving up personal attachments, relationships, and physical desires. Many even underwent voluntary castration to achieve this. They saw their bodies as temporary vehicles, and believed they needed to relinquish all earthly connections to reach the evolutionary level above human. Their teachings promised that by leaving their earthly attachments behind, they would ascend to this higher plane of existence, what they called the Kingdom of Heaven. With the Hale-Bopp comet approaching, Applewhite announced that the time had come. Members recorded their final messages, expressing joy and excitement about their upcoming graduation to what they believed was the next evolutionary level above human. In these final videos, each member appeared enthusiastic and at peace, looking forward to reuniting with T, who had passed away from cancer in 1985. They made it clear that this choice was voluntary, even cautioning against any false reports in the media about their departure. On March 26, 1997, after an anonymous tip, police entered Heaven's Gate's California compound. Inside, they found the bodies of 21 women and 18 men, aged 26 to 72, neatly arranged on bunk beds, dressed identically in black clothing and Nike sneakers. Each carried $5 in their pockets, a symbolic gesture, as though for a journey. Applewhite and 38 others had consumed a lethal mixture of vodka and phenobarbital mixed into pudding or applesauce. After the mass suicide, Heaven's Gate left an unforgettable impact on society's perception of cults and the lengths to which people will go for their beliefs. Former members shared how many had felt like they already knew Do and T from another life or world, considering them members of the Kingdom of Heaven. They firmly believed they were going home to the next evolutionary level above human. The group's website, still managed by 2 remaining members, preserves their teachings and legacy. In a tragic echo, a former member took his life a year after the mass suicide, showing how deeply the group's beliefs had affected even those who had once left. Today, we've explored the extraordinary story of Heaven's Gate, a group whose beliefs led them to give up everything for the chance to reach a higher plane of existence, which they called the evolutionary level above human. Their story raises lasting questions about the nature of faith, the need for belonging, and the power of belief. What are your thoughts on this tragedy? Share them in the comments below.